the bus, waiting for my son's bus, waiting for the bus, waiting for my son's bus. This is what I do. And then sometimes they're really rude to me. This is what they do. And I stand here and I wait, and they tell me they're 5 minutes away. This is the after school program, and I sit here and I wait for them, and then sometimes they show up and they're real assholes. And yesterday when they called, they said, we just want to make sure someone's home. I'm always home. It's really cold out, and my eyes are watering because the wind is coming in the window. Can you feel the wind in your eyes? It's like a Mentos commercial. And I stand here and I wait. Oh, there's some squirrels bitching. This is like a I could make a sad commercial. So instead of being smart and, you know, changing my screen out, I stand here and leave the screen and freeze. Well, look, I've got one hair that's longer than the rest. Just pat that down. So I've been standing here for 5 minutes. They're not 5 minutes away. So I'm always ready, like this. And then if I wasn't ready, okay, say they told me they were 10 minutes out and I was still sitting upstairs, they would have been right around the corner. It's Murphy's Law. You know, like Murphy's Law. If I wasn't down here, listen to that squirrel. Can you hear that? The squirrel is bitching. Yeah, get out there, get some more nuts. We aren't prepared for winter yet. No, Mickey's gonna sit outside and wait for Cameron, I guess. Oh, here they are. They don't even wave anymore. And that's... Hey, Cameron! That's my dog's big mouth. Bye, nobody waves. Hey, honey! Cameron's in a bad mood, I think. He's wearing his winter coat today because it's only 33 degrees outside. I'll be back. Mail from my mom today. My dad does some wood carving, and he made me a little pumpkin, which is really, really cute. And he always puts the date on the bottom. And I'm going to add this to my little collection. If you look up there, see the bears? It's kind of, see the bears up there? That shelf my father made. It's all made out of wood. And then she saw clings, window clings, that reminded her of me. I wonder why. Silly girl thinks these are only going to go up for Halloween. Ha. I don't think so. Especially ones with ravens on them. That looks like a raven to me. And I don't want to hear that it's not. See? So that was a really nice little surprise. And then my son got a package. Well, it's not here yet, but he's got a package coming, and my daughter got one. I love when I get happy mail from my mom. And look at, she's got perfect writing. Those of you that have known me since high school or grade school know that my mom has perfect writing, even when she's writing fast. Something else I got that I was going to tell everybody about were these pet tags that you put on your keychain. If something happens to you and people don't know that you have pets at home, these are a good tag to have. They say, my pets are home alone. See card and wallet for emergency contact. Okay? So if, say you got in a car accident or you end up in the hospital in the emergency room or something, and God forbid you have a heart attack or something happens, if they see this card or this tag and then they go into your wallet, they'll see this card, and then this will tell them what you have at home and then an emergency contact. Now, I wanted to tell you guys about this because at the time I bought 2 and I got 1 free. So I'm going to give 1 to my daughter, and my husband and I will have 1. But any of you guys, if you want to get them, use this coupon, Thanks20 at checkout, and you'll get 20% off your purchase. Okay? Something to think about, because I know you all have pets. Hey, it's me again. I was going to use my raccoon because I'm in bed, but I decided not to. Scandalous. Not really. I'm in bed because it's only 9:15 p.m. I'm in bed because it's not really comfortable anywhere else. And yes, I have clothes on. I'm not one of those video people. I'm in a lot of pain. I started to do my vlog earlier today, and I was going to use my raccoon because I was red in the eyes, my eyes were watering, I had a runny nose. I think I'm coming down with a cold because of the weather. If you're not in the northern United States, well, I'm in western New York, so I don't know what it's like over yonder parts of the United States to the west and all that, but along the in the whatever, I'm having wicked brain fog, but where I'm at, it was 33 or 35 degrees Fahrenheit here today, and my son had to wear his winter coat to school and a hat. And tomorrow they're going to the pumpkin farm, so he'll have to wear his winter coat and hat if the weather is as cold as it was today. Supposedly we were supposed to get some snow, and thank goodness we didn't. But when you have, and anybody that's had any aches and pains knows this, when the weather is cold or the weather is damp, it affects your body. Well, if you have anything like chronic pain, it really affects your body. But I've been having some issues with my FM, and I'm still, I've had FM, the diagnosis, for over 10 years now. I always say 10 years, and 10 years has come and gone. But again, I keep thinking Mickey is 6, and I've been saying that for over 6 years. He's actually 12. So, oh, excuse me. Oh, I just recently, within the last 2 or 3 years, got diagnosed with the psoriatic arthritis, and I'm having a hard time I have a hard time knowing what is arthritis and what isn't. And when I was at the rheumatologist today, I told her that. I said, sometimes I just don't know what pain is pain, what pain is what. I said, because I just hurt, you know, everything just hurts. And she keeps telling me within the joints is arthritis. And everything else is fibromyalgia. But a lot of my pain, she said, because I told her how my neurologist has been doing some trigger point injections up in my neck and my shoulders, and she said, well, you probably could benefit from them everywhere. I'm thinking I need to be a porcupine in my next life. But, so we're upping my Lyrica, and, I have to go and get my blood work done, and, I have to definitely go get my flu shot, because if you're someone that has, autoimmune disease, you have to make sure to take really good care of yourself and not get sick. Try not to get sick. And if you're on a biologic like Humira, you want to make sure that you get your flu shots and stuff and try not to get sick, because your defenses are even lower. So I try not to get sick. And luckily I was a kid that played in dirt and wasn't afraid to get dirty and germs and all that. So I have, hopefully I built up good immunities. But now she's thinking too, with my next blood work, she's going to check it for, to see if I have osteoarthritis. I'm just a big pain. I have toys that I've been wanting to show, and they're piling up. Yesterday, a pre-order came in that's from a fall convention, and it is Spider-Woman, the classic-looking Spider-Woman. I'm very excited to show her to you. I'm going to actually end up having a shelf all from all the Spider-Verse. I'm really excited. And I have Mr. Negative to show you from the Spider-Verse movie. I have, oh, excuse me, some more characters from the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie to show you. Some from Fantastic Beasts to show you. And I can't wait to get, I pre-ordered the gold version of Ant-Man and the classic Rocket Raccoon. Those aren't in yet. I just got my Lego versions of Ant-Man and the Wasp that I haven't opened yet. A lot of these were all pre-orders, so they're finally starting to come in. So I'm excited to share those. I didn't crochet today. I spent most of the day sleeping. Last night, when I couldn't sleep, I read 10 issues of the Runaways comic books, and I love the artwork. Oh, excuse me. I love the artwork, and I love the fact that they talk like teenagers, and Molly, the youngest one, talks like a young kid. I like the things that they do. They are immature, and they don't know a lot of things. They don't know, certain avenues to take to face their parents. Their parents are, if you don't know the story of the Runaways, there is a newer show. The Runaways came out, it's a Marvel comic book that came out around 2003. And they now have a show that came out, I think, last year. I just started watching it. I watched the first season. I binged on it just this past week or 2 weeks ago. And I loved it. I loved it. I read so many Marvel titles, and I'm just starting to expand out and read different things, to give myself a break from my normal reads. And what's nice is the subscription I have to the Vault. There's suggested readings, and I look at them and say, oh, I never thought to read that, so I'll go in and read it. Well, that wasn't the case with the Runaways. The Runaways, I watched the show and then I said, well, I know that there's comic books because it came from somewhere. So I went back to the earliest ones and I've been reading them. I think they stop at 18 or 20, something like that. And then I know they have other versions of it in different, it's like they did another version of it and then another version of it. I don't know if they're limited series. I don't know if the newest ones go with the show or whatever, but I know that these are the original ones, and I wish I would have started reading these before I watched the show, because I've formed biases and I've formed some favorites from watching the show, and sometimes it's hard to get over that when you've already, and then going into reading, you expect certain things, and it's the same if you read, I suppose, and then you go to watch the movies. I really like the books, and I like the fact that the children, the teenagers are typical teenagers, even though they have these some of them have powers or are very good at certain things. Their parents are really bad, are really, really evil, at least at this point. I'm not sure if it just seems they're evil, but the kids are scared, and rightfully so, and they don't have a lot of resources. They don't know what to do. It's like it would really be in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it were me and I was a 16-year-old kid with a bunch of other 15, 16, and 17-year-old kids, and we ran away. Okay, we ran away from our parents because our parents, we saw our parents do something really awful. And some of them did come from privileged homes, but we left with whatever we had in our hands. So whatever's in our pockets is all we have. We can't use our cell phones because our parents will track us. We can't use our debit cards or because they can find us, or if we do have credit cards, can't use them. Parents will find us. So we've got to scrounge together what we have in our pockets to get food. Got to find a place to hide. And then if you're one of the ones that has a special ability, you're excited to use it. And, where do you go from where you're at right now? And then the youngest one, Molly, I think she's like 13. Now it's time for my cat to start meowing. So she had been left out of the loop for a lot of it. So they're trying to update her, and she's one of the ones that has powers, and she's getting angry, and then she goes through this whole honeymoon situation where it's like, yeah, I'm free from having parents, because she doesn't realize, she can't wrap her head around the whole fact that the parents are evil, because she didn't witness what the other ones did, and it's almost like she's she's in that honeymoon period where, oh, I'm free, I can do what I want, I can swear, I can stay up as late as I want. Everything's a party, you know. And that's where I'm at right now. Is the kids are trying to figure out, you know, where do we go from here, because the parents have put out APBs on them and said that they kidnapped Molly and that they're wanted for murder and stuff like this. So that's where I'm at right now. And just once, I would like to see a show or a movie do exactly what is in the book or in the story, you know, in the comic book. Just once, verbatim. I would love to see that. Not do, you know, not add their own little twist to it or just slightly follow it. I would like to see them do exactly word for word, you know, and see what happens. I've, you know, because if you're a purist and you go to see a movie, because I know this happened for me with the Lord of the Ring movies and The Hobbit, I got really, really mad because they would change things. And I'm like, that didn't happen in the books. You know, for those I couldn't suspend my knowledge of the books enough to let it go, you know. Especially in The Hobbit. The Hobbit was the worst. For Lord of the Rings, a lot of it I could let go, but for The Hobbit, I just couldn't. In fact, I didn't go see the last part in the movie theater. I was just too angry. So I haven't even watched the last part. That's how angry I was. The Marvel movies, they were easy to, well, not easy, but easier to let go because the cinematic universe, they did their own thing. So comic books have story arcs all the time. They they die, they're reborn again, and a lot of times their powers or their storylines change. So that was a little bit easier for me to you know, to go with the flow. But certain things, it's like, don't mess with Tolkien, you know, don't do that. That didn't happen. That character doesn't even exist, you know. But just once, I would like to see something go verbatim. Totally verbatim. And no one's ever done it that I know of. And I would just love to see that happen, you know. That would be really, really cool. Another thing I wanted to talk about was, I don't know if anybody else out there has read about The Art of Peace. I pulled out my little book about The Art of Peace and gave it to my husband to read. I've highlighted a lot of bits and pieces of it. And I think for most of us, right now is a good time to embrace our peaceful side instead of our angry side. The world has shifted so much that there's so much negativity. I know there's always negativity in the world. You know, I'm not foolish. I'm not naive. There's always been negativity in the world. And there always will be. But it's built up so much. Especially since the last election. And people are getting down further and further. And mental illness and depression, it seems like it's it seems like, especially depression is on the rise. It seems like it's on an all-time high. And I just think instead of all this tearing down, that should be building up. I think that maybe we're too out of alignment with the natural ebb and flow of the earth, you know, not taking enough time to enjoy, you know, touching the ground or going out in nature, enjoying a walk in the park, or if you can get out into the woods, or, you know, just be silent for a while. Silence for me is very, very hard. And I've found that at nighttime, if I put on this, it's called sleep sounds, and then you have like wind chimes or thunder or underwater sounds or whale sounds, you know, things like that on it. I can be quiet and just have that going. Utter silence I have a problem with. I feel like I have to fill it up with noise. I'd like to get to the point where I can be comfortable in silence. For a little while in my life, it was a very short piece of my timeline, I was comfortable with silence. I don't know what happened where I couldn't handle the silence anymore. I don't know what happened, but when you live in a city, you don't get to be in nature as much, you know. I mean, we have trees, but the trees are stifled by tarmac. You know, the roots don't get to go as deep as they do when you're outside the city. When I was in Hamburg, what was it, Tuesday? You know, the trees spread further. They look healthier. The leaves are brighter in the color that they're changing. And when they're green, they're really, really green. The branches aren't sparse like they are here. The houses seem brighter, cleaner. The parks seem neater and more organized. People look happier because they're more in tune to nature, and there's a river right there. I mean, you compare the rivers and creeks there compared to like Casanova Creek here. Our water looks fake. I mean, it's real water. It really is, but it looks fake compared to what they have out there. It seems dirty and regurgitated sewer water, and it's sad. I always felt more recharged when we would go to Limestone, but even that, I can't go there anymore and recharge because the property is now owned by Paul's brother, and that's now his home property. You know, it's not a camp anymore. So it's not the same. You go for a visit, you don't go there to recharge. You know, we'd have to go rent a cabin or something. So that might be something we'll have to try. But the art of peace, part of it is that you can do it anywhere, right where you are right now. And the way of a warrior is not to cause strife, destruction, and death, but to cause peace and harmony, to let yourself flow naturally with nature, and spread peace from yourself to other people. Not get dragged down into the, what is it called? To not let yourself get dragged down into the comparisons, like comparing yourself to other people, the haves and the have-nots, and become materialistic. For example, I like the stuff that I collect, and a lot of times, like, I'll say, oh, I have to have that, but I really don't have to have it to live. I would be okay not having it. You know, and I've gone without things, and I've lived. I mean, I haven't lost any appendages yet. And I've always said, if I need to, you know, if it comes between having toys and eating, hello, I would sell my toys, you know, if I had to. My kids come first. My child comes first. You know, don't drop yourself to the level where you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. Or I found that when I started being truly happy for people, even, and this is so hard for me to do, even, and it doesn't always happen, believe me, but when I'm happy for people that I don't even care for in my daily life, in my everyday life, people I know that I don't care for, when I can make myself be truly happy for them, I find that things are better for me. Often too many times we get so wrapped up in other people's business that we fail to see our own shortcomings, which our shortcomings are what we need to work on, not what other people are doing. Those are their problems, not ours. They don't directly affect us, you know. That took me a long time to learn. And there was a saying I saw recently on a, you know, those little sayings that people put up. I actually kept it because a lot of times those irritate me. And you get so sick of seeing them because after a while you keep seeing the same things written over and over and over again. Just different picture. But this one said something along the lines of, you are a different versions of yourself to different people. Is that what it was? I'll put it at the end of this video so you can look at it. It was interesting. And when I looked at it, it was like mind blown, you know. So I'll put it on here and see what you guys think of it. And if you want to comment about it, feel free to. I don't get very many comments. I always hope for more interaction with people, but it hasn't happened too much. I do appreciate my regular commenters. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Pam. I'm always up for good conversation, guys. I love to talk, as you could tell. But, yeah, if you have not, I can't remember the name of the author. I mean, I know his name, but it's really hard to pronounce. So I will put up a picture of that on the end of this as well. It's great teachings. It's simple, and it's not preachy. It doesn't go with any religion or anything like that, but it's something, and it's in a little book, and you can carry it in your pocket, and it's fantastic. You know, you don't have to do any exercises with it. It's simply, you know, thoughts that you do, and you can spread it, you know, spread the positivity really simply. you know, and you don't have to be fake. It's just really simple. And I try to do it. I'm not perfect, but you know, every little bit we try. And I used to hate positivity. I was miserable. I was an Eeyore type person, and I loved it. I could walk in a room and make everybody miserable just by walking in and bringing that dark cloud with me. I used to love it. That was before I found out I was bipolar. Alright guys, well, if you're into comic books and you want to try something new, I'm always promoting Marvel, of course. The title was Runaways, and this set was from 2003. I'm going to put those at the end too because the artwork is really beautiful. So I'm going to put each one up so you can look at them and enjoy them. Until next time, you guys have a great night, and if you're going to bed, I hope that you sleep well, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.